What is going on, y'all? It's me, it's that boy LLG, and I am back at it again with another recap video. This week, we're going to be going over January 25th to February 1st. So without further ado, let's get into it. So starting off with that new segment I told y'all about, standout games. This week we're going to be talking about week 7 upsets, specifically these 4 games. Before I start off, you might as well just ignore the records. These were taken 2 to 3 days ago because, I'll be prepared, you know what I'm saying? So for our first upset of the week, Danny took down the reigning champion Chiefs 24-10, and he is currently sitting at 3-5. Next game we're going over is Ante versus Quanson. This isn't really much of an upset, more as it's just a division rivalry. Quanson took down Ante the first time, but they have now split the series, and this AFC North division is up in the air. Next up, we have Sniper versus Derek. Sniper ended up losing this game 14-21 in the very end. And finally, we have Tejas versus Cookie. Tejas ended up losing this game 27-31. And Cookie, if I'm not mistaken, is currently leading the NFC East. Moving on to the Marble Kingdoms, with the first overall pick, Bomb Boy selected Ace Coke. Not a bad pick. I mean, obviously, not the best player in the draft, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. The Stinky Tribe is obviously the clear favorites. I mean, look at us. We have me, Mo, Sniper, Mac, Jid. Like, this team is versatile. Not to mention Stinky's ability to hack through other people's Wi-Fi's and make them lag. You know what I'm saying? Moving on to the coaching check. This is as of 4:16 a.m. Yes, I'm up at 4:16 a.m. But anyways, D-Champ is currently 4-5 with the Buffalo Bills. His recent 2 games were a win over Trev and a loss to Stinky. On the other side of the spectrum, Trev, after taking over the Tennessee Titans, is currently sitting at 2-7 with a loss over Rowe and a loss to D-Champ. Moving on to Derek, he's currently 3-6, taking over the Steelers. His recent 2 games were also a loss to Rowe and a loss to your boy, you know what I'm saying, because I do this for real. Next up is Danny, who's currently 3-5 after taking over the Falcons. His recent 2 games were a loss to Wilkie and a win over Tejas. And up next we have Glassy, who's currently 0-8 with the Cardinals. His recent 2 games were a loss to Nike and a loss. So this is coaching check part 2. So this is the teams that we went over last weekend to see how they were doing. Now we're going to check and see how they're doing now. First up is Quanson, who, as we all know, took over the Browns. He's currently 6-2-1. Yes, 1. Like, imagine tying a game. That couldn't be me. Anyways, his most recent 2 games were a win over Showtime and a win over Bomb. Next up is Jaden, who's currently 6-3 with the Buccaneers. His most recent 2 games was a win over Junk and a loss to Cookie. Next up is Utter, who's currently 3-5 on the Jets. His most recent 2 games were a loss to D-Champ and a win over the Patriots. Next up is Tejas, who's 5-4 on my Eagles. You know what I'm saying? You can't be making the Eagles look bad, bro. Like, we're already bad in real life. You can't be making them look bad. Anyways, his most recent 2 games were a loss to Danny and then a loss to Mo. Next up is the new kid on campus, Nike. He is currently 7-1 on the Vikings with recent wins over Danny and the Rams. Utter came out with a new power rankings this week. This is just the top 16. I'm going to refrain from hating on this because, I always feel like I'm being underrated, you know what I'm saying? I always feel disrespected, you know what I'm saying? But other than my ultimate disrespect, this list is pretty solid. I think without a doubt, Mo is the #1 player in the league right now. And of course, you got to have Nike in the top 5 after he's 7-1 right now. He's on fire. Moving on to the Nerd Herd presented by Bomb. This week's question of the week was, who is the first NBA player to appear in a game in 4 different decades? Of course, the answer is Vince Carter. He played in 1999, the 2000s, the 2010s, and he played his final game in 2021. Easy question right there, you know what I'm saying? If I was there, you know what I'm saying, I would have got it because, you know what I'm saying, big basketball thing. If you ask a basketball question, there's a great chance that you're going to be featured as top question because I just, you know what I'm saying, I got a soft spot for basketball because y'all too football-y for me, you know what I'm saying? So looking ahead, we have some games that I suggest that you watch. First off is Rowe versus H Coke, which is happening week 11. Rowe is home, but that really doesn't matter. It's just Madden. And also in week 11, we have Bamsey versus Stinky. Big divisional matchup right here. This might decide who wins the NFC West. Before I sign off, of course, we have the top plays of the week. I just wanted to remind y'all that if you have a top play, send it to H Coke. I will consult H Coke, find the top 3, and then we will play them at the end. So go ahead, do that. Don't forget to earn yourself some rings. That's going to be it for me. My name is LOG, and starting off with your top plays, here's number 3.
It's more on 3rd and goal. Here's Rose in the throw. He'll buy some time running. And he will take it across from Panthers.
T to my KK. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Cookie. Cookie. Get the outlet.
On 2nd down, McCaffrey.
Damn, son.
He's got